Chrissy. I hope you can hear me. I'm back home and using my microphone and doing all the things, so I think I'm good. And I'm glad to be home because, well, let's be honest, being not home, it throws you out of whack, it throws you out of rhythm, all of those things. So I wanted to pop in and talk to you a few things today, this Friday. First of all, welcome to Friday. Good job getting here. I I also think that we should take a second while we're here together to actually say, "Oh my gosh, good job." I want you to think of one single thing that happened this week that you got everybody through. Everybody came out the other side and not too much damage because of it. And mostly because you're still standing and you handled it all. So make sure you give yourself a high five as well as all the things that we can talk to ourselves not so great about, which is actually what I wanted to talk about today because I had an amazing session last night with some amazing people who are on the dementia journey, and I'll have to tell you, every single one of them is absolutely 100% my idol. That came up in a meeting this week too. And who is your idol? And I would have to say that my idol is all the people I meet, all the people that, in spite of all the emotional, the mental strain, the emotional abuse. Sometimes I'm actually going to call it abuse because it's really, it is abuse. So, in the sense that even if I can change the story of what that person is saying, it still doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, right? Like it's going to hurt, but how you support yourself through that hurt and how you support your people um, is important. And so I wanted to talk about that because what often happens is we can lead ourselves into guilt and more guilt and more guilt and all the guilt. So I wasn't able to talk about it too intelligently last night because my computer died. Long story, whatever. But what I can tell you is that until I really understand the difference between guilt and regret and remorse and all the things, I was kind of confused as to how exactly I'm beating myself up. What does feeling guilty mean? So I pulled the definition out, and what I found is this. Guilt is an emotional experience that occurs when a person believes or realizes, accurately or not, that they have compromised their own standards of conduct or have violated universal moral standards of being significantly responsible for the violation. So what does that mean? Well, whether it's true or not, accurate or not, you think that somehow you've broken some moral code, you're the reason that all the things are happening. You're the reason. And guilt is really closely related to the concept of remorse and shame, right? Remorse and shame is more I am bad instead of something bad happened, right? So when we're talking about placement and the guilt that comes with placement, I want you to think about what did you compromise? Your own moral code is probably what it's coming down to, because what's happening is you told yourself somewhere along the line that you were going to do it all forever and ever. Amen. But there's no way you could have known that some of these twists and turns could have ended up like they have, taken you both down roads you never anticipated before, right? And you've never traveled. And so you're just a traveler. You're just trying to figure it out. And when you don't figure it out, or if you figure out a solution that doesn't align with forever and ever amen, somehow do we believe that we've broken our moral code? Our moral code was to stand by this person and love them through this. It doesn't mean that they've always got to live with us. I'm still going to love them, be with them through the whole journey. So my point in saying that is the guilt that we feel is so displaced, right? Do we really think, if we really got to thinking about the logic and the reasoning and not the feeling, the logic behind why we might have to place someone, could it possibly be we do the placement so you can have the life you both deserved by being together as husband and wife, instead of one of you being the care partner and one of you being the care receiver, right? Like it's not always easy, and those decisions, especially the hard decisions, we talked about them last night. Like, that's the bull ride. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to just not feel good. It's not going to be okay. But I promise you, it will be okay. Once you get out of the other side of that bull ride and you can settle into what is, you will be able to see the benefits. You will be able to see the logic of reasoning of your decisions. Now, if your decision so happened to turn out that it isn't the right decision, it didn't turn out the way you thought it was supposed to, right? It didn't hit the mark, then we might have what we call regret. Regret is an emotion of wishing one had made a different decision in the past, because of the consequence of the decision is generally unfavorable. It's negative. So regret is reflective of a perceived opportunity that we had and we took it and it didn't work. I regret that I did that. Not, I feel guilty because I did something bad because I did that. Right? Like it's so about the story we tell ourselves about the moments that we were in. So I hope that kind of helps you as far as like the guilt, and just to simply remember that guilt is rational or relational when you actually cause hurt, right? That's rational guilt. All right. When you actually cause someone hurt and pain. Irrational is when you falsely perceive that you have caused the hurt or the pain, right? The hurt and the pain does not equate to I made you sad. I'm sorry that this is uncomfortable and you're not going to really like this, but if I'm really committed to doing the best for both of us, then this is where I need to be. This is where I need to draw the line for both of us, make a boundary, and love us both as much as I love you. So I hope that's helpful. The difference, most often we are irrational, and we're probably going to feel guilty because a lot of us have been trained to feel that way. Like it's part of our process. Somehow feeling super guilty about things, super bad about things, somehow it's ingrained in us. But let me just tell you, even if you have to be the one to sit down across from your person and say, Mom, I hate that this isn't working anymore, but I think you would agree. And my mom is in a place where I can have this conversation with her. Okay. So keep that in mind. But logic and reasoning, and if I'm being responsible to us, I know that this is the next right answer because every indicator is telling me that. And please, 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 please do not get to a point that placement becomes an option in a crisis. Like, we don't want you to get to a crisis. We don't want you to not outlive the people that you're supporting. So if guilt is in the way, I want you to actually think about, are you actually doing harm or are you saving our lives? Because both things could be true for you. Like, both stories are pertinent. I hope that makes sense. So I hope that's helpful. The other thing I wanted to talk about that came up last night is that when something happens like dementia and we're progressing through the disease and we don't know what's happening, we don't know what's coming next, sometimes we'll rely on professionals to help us figure out how to get over hurdles, get across things, to figure out how to handle this, how to do this. And those are all great things. But I want to put this out further for us. If the advice you're getting from the people that are advising you are somehow taking away life, don't listen. Meaning that if my most favorite thing to do is to go down to Dollar General once a week because I like to go through the dollar aisle and get stuff and do stuff, we have to schedule that. Because that's what's important to me, right? I do all these things that are important for me. I take your medicine, I follow your rules the best I can, but those things that are important for me also need to be connected to those things that are important to me, okay? Going down to Dollar General, going and hanging out at the local bistro or coffee shop with all the friends that I've just hung out with for the last 15 years. Our job as caregivers is not to take life away. Our job as caregivers, as care partners, is helping our people connect to the life that's comfortable and familiar to them. Okay? So when we are just talking about guilt, I have no idea where all that noise is coming from, but it's driving me nuts. Any Hoosers, if we go back to guilt, if someone tells you that you have to take a piece of life away from the person that you love, if they are in imminent danger, okay. If we go with them, are they still in danger? If the answer to that is yes, okay. Exactly like placement, right? If this is no longer the right answer, then no is the right answer. But because it's uncomfortable for us or something we don't do, especially when we're in a facility, that's not person-centered care. So if someone's trying to take some part of your person's life that's important to them, time out, stop, nope, that's your red flag. How can we get her the most important parts of her life that make her life worth living? Like, that's our goal, right? So I believe that there are some professionals that have major good intentions. I do. But let me just tell you, this is not a power over situation. This is not, hey, you're in charge, you're in control, and I'm going to power over you because I'm going to win. No, that isn't going to work with people with dementia. If you really think about it, would it work with you? No. So why we think it would work with someone that we love and that we're with, I have no idea. So anyway, you can be the power over person. You could be the, we're following the rigid schedule. We're doing all this. You're not doing this. We're not, you know, but I promise you it's going to be the roughest ride you probably ever had, the both of you. So let's go back to partnering. Let's make sure that we are bringing life in. That's not only important to the person that we're supporting, but it's important to us. The things that are important to us, because if we skip those things, then those things that are important for us are no longer worth it because they're not connected to the things that are important to us. So you want me to take my medicine? It's just like the little one this morning, right? I need him to get out of bed. I want him to be happy. It's going to be a super great day. It's really cool when grandma takes him to school. So I said, what is the special thing you want on the way to school this morning? He said, I would like a sprinkle donut. I said, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And when I come out, I hope to see you getting your clothes on. And I went to the bathroom and I came out and he was getting his clothes on. We laughed. We did all the things. We got in the car. He got the sprinkle donut. I mean, it was just, it was the best morning ever. But my job is not to take any life away from him. My job is to make it the best life I can for him, right? And is a sprinkle donut the right answer? If you ask Daddy, no. But I'm not Daddy. I'm Mom. I'm Grandma. So I get to do the special things, the cool things, right? But when it comes to Jeff, we have to work really hard to keep the special and the cool things because he's in so much pain all the time. It's crazy. But we have to work at it and we have to be purposeful because one of us has the ability to connect us to the life that we love. One of us does not. So back to your to-do list and spending time together is just as important as giving that person their medicine or helping them in the bathroom or something of that nature, right? Like that is just as important. Spending time together, sitting down and being together. We talked last night a little bit about how it's hard to sit down and just be because you feel like you should be doing something. And that's also part of our personality, right? We have doers and we have thinkers. And as doers, we don't know how to sit. And if we do sit, we're never not doing anything. Part of it's personality, but also part of it is understanding that playing those Yahtzee games, watching the TV shows, talking smack, those are the things that make life living. All the rest of it is noise. And sometimes there's so much noise that we have to work really, really hard to make sure we can get to the place that we don't forget what life was all about and what we loved about each other, because that's the most important thing. So, anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope that it helps you some way. You know, there's you can go a lot of ways with a lot of different stories. And there are going to be stories that serve you and there are going to be stories that don't. So if we start questioning some of the stories we're telling ourselves and actually ask ourselves, is this actually serving me, telling myself this story, or is it irritating me? Is it making me lean in to the situation, the story I'm telling myself, or is it making me lean out? Right? Because if it's making you lean out, that's not serving you at all, right? Understandably, why you might want to lean out. I'm just saying it's not going to serve you. So talk about an uphill battle. That's exactly what that's going to feel like. And I take myself on trips all the time. But once I start asking myself, how is this serving me? It's not keeping me in line somehow. It's not keeping me on the straight and narrow. Like, just like we must think the guilt must do that, right? Like somehow, if I'm going to make you somehow be uncomfortable, I must suffer too. I don't know. I really don't know. But you have your own journey through it. And whatever you choose in the immediate second, you're not going to get rid of that. But how you react to that and respond to that and be ready for that is what's making all the difference. So I'll stop talking now, but it was a wonderful week. If you can tell, I'm kind of getting my bearings back a little bit, trying to get my feet on the ground. So everything is good. So today's joke, compliments of Laura. A woodpecker visited the petrified forest. He says it was impeccable. Thanks, Laura. That was great. So I am so glad you're here with me. I hope you got a lot out of this, or a little bit at least. And remember, all you can do is the next right thing. Even if it turns out that you regret it in the end, you're never going to know unless you try and take the leap of faith, maybe, and trust your gut. So anyway, take care. Peace out. Totally remember you got this, and we'll see you next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.